is a magnificent day here at Elizabeth Oval for round 19. And it's first versus second. The Bulldogs on top. They're going to be challenged by this Norwood side who have travelled together. And just as you see on screen, I reckon you're going to find a bit of spirit early in this clash. The Bulldogs have been beaten twice this year by Norwood, and they're desperate not to let it happen again. They can probably secure the minor premiership with a victory here this afternoon. With us this afternoon, Ken Sheldon, Gordon Schwartz. We'll get to the lads shortly. The bounce down in the middle of the ground. Schaefer took the fly at it. Keating got the tap. And that, Gordon, is going to be one of the telling jewels of the day.
Yes, I watched that very closely, and Potter was the man that was going to try and unsettle Keating. He ran straight into him on that last occasion.
Be interesting to see how Keating can manage it, because Central view him as being a prime mover. Here he is. Big Aaron. More like knee wand in the bike helmet, but it's kicked away towards half forward. Stevens spoiled it away from Dickey. That's going to be an exciting duel. Dickey to Cunningham, one of the McGarry medal favourites, inside half forward now. It's a kick that's a tough one to take, but down at the front end is Pascoe. There's a couple there in support. Daniel works back, pushes it wide. The boundary line seemed to be the intention. Now McIntosh is there, and Macca stages. Doesn't get the free kick, Ken.
And won't that be a tremendous duel? Gary McIntosh on Ricky McGowan as they've lined up in the centre of the ground at this stage. Miller, Schaefer with the left hand down. Picked up by Giorgio. A terrific acquisition. Puts it into full forward where Reid flies for the ball. But Central are good enough in defence to clear it through Swert. Picks it up, comes back inboard. Long with the left, it's a rugged old kick. And it's punched out of bounds by Trevor Groudon, wearing number 4 for the Norwood team.
There's quite a marked contrast between McGowan and McIntosh. McIntosh, of course, aggressive. McGowan, more a ball player.
Yes, very much the class act in the middle. McGowan, 20+ possessions in the first quarter last week. We knew at the time that he was playing well, but until we saw the stats did we realise that he'd murdered. In fact, he'd taken them to pieces, the Eagles, last week. Right now at half forward, Norwood have done all of the attacking so far. One of the things that I'm surprised by is that Tim Cook has started out of the centre square. Seems to have started in a forward pocket. They've got Wind in the middle, Girdham in the middle with McGowan. So they've got the 3 old-timers in there. And that man on screen, Stephen Rowe, in the middle as well for Norwood with McIntosh and Cunningham. So they've got some quality both sides in there. Giorgio slipped it out. Like Harvey, who got the kick over the shoulder. Scott Lee, a couple of short ones. There was a fair old stampede coming towards him, so he decided against it. The handball's pretty good to Hicks. And then to Schaefer. Get down, Robbie. Long way down, does it okay. The floating kick's a tough one to take, but Stevens does it beautifully and plays on.
Turns inboard into the centre of the ground as he looks for his leading teammate in Boltwell. Number 11 takes a good chest mark running with the flight of the ball. Back to Stevens. Right in the centre of the ground. Goes wider looking for Jared Cotton. A great duel there, those two. Todd Davey, his opponent. The ball. It's a free kick being deemed to Sermon Lewis, who's come into the game at the expense of David Flood, who couldn't take his place.
Be good for Lewis, that early touch, just to get himself in the groove. He's been in the reserves for a while, and that's an important one for him.
And a 25-metre penalty as well, so his first disposal coming back into this team should give him an opportunity to kick the first goal of the day.
I thought they might have started Lewis on the bench, but as you said, perhaps to get a run in early, and I don't know that he'd be quite fit enough to see out a full game.
As he takes his approach for goal.
It's good.
The crowd like it, but they are on the wrong angle as we are, Stephen. Central District have started with Lewis in the full forward pocket, Conway at full forward and Boltwell out at centre half forward. So they've opted for 3 talls as Dan Tokia kicks the ball to Robertson, who clears with a long kick to the outer half-back flank. In the front position is Potter. Davey, tremendous courage as he picks that ball up on the half-forward volley, flicks it further forward. Norwood kicked the ball long, but reading it well is Ricky McGowan as he sits back in, a kick behind the play.
Doesn't he do it so well in terms of reading the passage of play? 25 years old, but he plays it like he's been around for 100 years. Kicks it up towards the 50-metre line. It goes out the back from Keating, couldn't get a play on it. Oh, the tackling was fantastic in there. Cook couldn't get it away. Series of handballs, Dickey to Harvey. Now in fact it's Cunningham running through the middle. The overlap again as they work it through the back end. And Dickey, it looked like, has found Reid on a magnificent lead, 52 metres out. The short pass is beautiful as well. And it's got Pascoe about 15 to 20 out.
Oh, Wakeland was 10 yards away, 10 metres away.
The entry was quick, though, wasn't it?
Wasn't it? Yes.
Pretty tough for fullbacks to manage that. There's Reid, turned around, wasted no time. And as Gordon Schwartz quite rightly pointed out, Michael Wakeland was caught napping.
I'll correct that. He was only 5 metres behind.
It's a long way here at Elizabeth, isn't it? The back of the grandstand.
Isn't it?
Pascoe. A chance for the Redlegs first. On the left leg, he's on the correct side. You won't hear many cheers from the Centrals fans, but he's got to go. So at the 5.5-minute mark, the Redlegs are away.
This is Cunningham going through to Dickey. Great football, and it's to Reid, who turns quickly, sees the lead from Pascoe.
Where's Wakeland? Yeah, he's off the pace.
Yes, he was.
Very much off the pace. A tough one to take, though, because, as I said, Reid had turned around quickly. That's a great start for a side that hasn't won out here in 13 years.
Well, a 2-goal turnaround with the expense of Simon Lewis, who missed just as easy of opportunity at the other end. Umpire Michael Abbott bounces the ball. Keating slips Schaefer with the right hand. Bulkwell tremendously tied up by the Norwood players. Giorgio and Wind, won't that be a duel? And Jimmy Wind equal to the task. Giorgio looked as though he might have been able to get the ball away, but tackled tremendously.
Big task for Pascoe. He's kicked, what, 16 goals in 2 games, but they've both been against Sturt. A little bit better quality today, the opposition.
Well, it will be interesting, won't it? Because at one end, Lewis is a little underdone. And at the other end, Pascoe hasn't played much senior football either. So if either can get hold of this game by the scruff of the neck, they'll do okay. And speak about the scruff of the neck, Potter's just having his dragged around there. He's given away a free kick. They play it on. Giorgio has had the clippers to the hair this week. Away it goes towards centre-half forward. The spoil forward was okay. Schaefer didn't have time to work back, but had time to get to the footy and gets a free kick. A bit lucky he lost his feet, really.
Yeah, a bit soft down there.
Well, both ruckmen are playing a kick and a bit behind the play. Schaefer, number 2 for Central District. And Keating, number 18 for Norwood, wearing a helmet. Cleared from Central District defence with a long left foot kick, looking for captain Gurdon. He's deemed as in the back. A rough challenge by Matthew James. Gurdon started in the midfield, but has dropped out to the half-back flank. And Craig Potter has taken up residence in the midfield. Free kick paid downfield to the left-footed Jaron Cotton, who puts the ball out in front of the 2 leading forwards in Lord and Conway, but over the back. Oh, a rough one there from almost out on the full by Stephen Daniels, but just bouncing short of the boundary line. So a throw-in to take place.
Yes, I'm just wondering whether he deliberately not tried to kick it out. It just came off his boot and almost went out.
Stephen Rowe over the footy. The eyes come up. Not sure what he was looking at, though. Pretty good crowd in here at Elizabeth Oval as Ashley Reid gets some attention on a knee. Just cleaning up a bit of blood there, I imagine, before the umpire notices it and sends him from the arena. Ricky McGowan, about 60 out. The short pass is excellent. Right into the arms of Big Conway, who's kicked 39 this year, Gordon, and has been a headache for most sides.
Only a short one, used his bulk to advantage there. Yes, he has. They'll miss Flood today. He dropped out of the side and Lewis came in. Kicked 76, I think, between them, as I read in the paper this morning.
Exactly. It's not a bad sign of a good side, though, isn't it? They can bring in someone like Lewis, who's played a number of finals. Now the Conway kick. What's happened there?
The post.
Took the post. So they're second behind. 1 goal, the Redlegs. Central at 2 points. We're 9 minutes in.
Central District playing the zone at the expense of some inaccurate kicking. Dan Tokia again to kick out and goes short to himself. Plays on a bit longer, looking for Matthew James, and found him with a perfect precision disposal.
Good setup, wasn't it?
Yes, very good. James kicks long to centre wing. And it's spoiled, and a throw-in will take place with the Bulldogs. Only 2 behinds on the board. Norwood, 1 goal. That to Pascoe. Thrown in. Not sure who won that one. Pretty even contest as that was. Some tremendous midfield matchups. McIntosh and McGowan, as we talked about. Giorgio on Wind. Cunningham and Rowe with Gurdon and Potter. centre wing here, we have Dickey and Stevens.
Herrera and Miller.
And there'll be a lot of this congested play. And it's the side that holds its structure better that's able to release that ball from that situation through the likes of that man there, McGowan. Unfortunately, with a rough handball, Dan Tocchia on the left places it wide to Giorgio, who's run well from that congestion. On the left, Giorgio puts it out in front of Cunningham. And Scott Lee equal to the task. Tremendous play, Scott Lee. Back into McGowan, who's covering a lot of ground early. Flicks the ball back, looking for Herrera. Back to Lee. Oh. There's some great tackling. Giorgio's followed it through, but so has Herrera. And it's all tied up for another ball up.
How did you see that? Holding the footy or a ball up?
I thought it was holding the ball.
Just watch it very carefully. Had possession, had a chance. Was caught around the midriff. So, good call. Dickey around the body. Central lead in the race for the ball. It's Wakeland. The bounce is awkward though, and it's picked up magnificently. Kick around the corner was no good though. Number 45 is Nathan Smart. In fact, it's not only not very good, it's way out of bounds on the full.
Yes, didn't get time to get balanced.
That'll be a terrific duel there, Nathan Smart and young Brenton Daniel, number 55 for Central District, affectionately known as Jack.
Yeah, of course. And speaking of matchups, Leon Cunningham's a beauty. Centre wing, another pack of players, and down it goes. Yeah, I think you're right, Ken. I think that midfield area is going to be one that's so decisive. The important thing in looking back and reviewing some of their games over the last couple of years is that the Norwood midfield has actually run on better. They've outscored their opponents in the last terms, run on better and stronger. And as a result, apart from round 1 last year, the Redlegs have been victorious in the past 4 games.
Well, we've already seen a couple of very neat overlaps and hard running into their forward line by the Redlegs, but the Central Districts, they have their own strength as well, and they are hard and ferocious in those packs. Probably more so, I think, than Norwood are renowned. But it's cleared by Cunningham. Been prolific so far, puts the ball long, but it's Lee, just reads the ball so well in defence.
Yes, he comes away quickly to Herrera.
And Herrera.
Lead.
Herrera's good midfield. Good kick, wasn't it?
Excellent.
This is Cotton, right in the middle of the ground. Lewis is on the lead. That's where it will go. The kick is high. Now watch for Lewis. He's got the break. Bowman's at the back, though. The big fist goes into it. Not allowing any mark to be taken. The Redlegs with the numbers. Harvey, magnificent tackle. Oh, it's a beauty by Lewis. If you think anything will lift the confidence, it'll be just that.
Just watch him. Yes, a great one. Harvey, incidentally, had 40 possessions in the first game this season when Norwood were too good for the Dogs.
Good player. Lewis, who looked like he was tackling a tackle bag in that instance at training, has carried the distance, I reckon. The Bulldogs are in front. The 13-minute mark of the first term, in front of plenty of adoring Central District supporters. The Bulldogs put their noses in front.
Now watch the tackle once again. Superb tackle, but Lewis is a strong player. Now here's the kick. He started with a point and now has followed it up with a goal, so he's almost paid his way already.
So Central Districts, 1 goal, 2, 8 lead Norwood, 1 solitary goal. The bounce in the centre of the ground, 2 of the tallest man compete. Keating wins the tap ahead of Schaefer. And there's a free kick being given out of it to John Cunningham. Now it's to Anthony Harvey. That was right the first time. Ant was trying to get an extra stat. Cunningham, number 16, punches the ball long, looking for the big fellow in Miller, who sets himself. I think they'll pay that. No, it's... Yes, it has been paid. It's flicked quickly to Giorgio, who puts it in the direction of Pascoe, playing a dual-prong attack there with Reid, but equal to the task of the Central District defenders as they clear out through Wakeland. Back to Lee, who's been tremendous. Infield to Cook, who just can't quite control that, but run on allows him to pick it up. Use the ball with great vision to the running Scott Stevens, all on his own out here onto centre field, being pursued by Dan Tocchia, but flicked up to Stevens. Dan Tocchia, that's why he's such a great player. It doesn't matter what the numbers, he just keeps competing. Stevens puts the ball looking for Saywell. Out over the back is Balkwell. They've got the numbers here, the Bulldogs, as it's kicked in, looking for the big fellow, but a bad disposal, actually. Looking for the leading full forward, but just not good enough, and punched very strongly out over the boundary line.
No, he had an opportunity. As you said, it was squandered on that occasion.
I tell you what, if Dan Tocchia had pulled that off with 3 versus 1, just about get a trophy back at the club for that. to centre-half back. Girdham stood his ground. Geez, uncompromising, isn't he? Fans thought he should have got a free kick. He followed it up with looking for a scalp himself. He didn't get it, though. Davey, go and get a kick at your peril, lads, because it's tough and tight in there. Dickey now from centre-half back to the half-forward flank on the right side. Rose the target. Look at this for a class act. The two boys in the Advertiser this morning, one of them has started himself a little games business, and Lee's dragged him to the ground. The Centrals fans love it. There's still a chance, though, the legs. Off hands, Reid, kicks and goals. Great piece of play through the midfield. They get their second.
Yes, full marks there to Stephen Rowe. He battled on well, didn't get the kick very far, but nicely picked up and an accurate shot for goal. Good hand pass. Reid, who's kicked 51, I think, when he started today, 51 goals, and it was a valuable one.
Bit of an irony, isn't it, that those two should be chasing each other, yeah. Lee and Rowe, good mates from the Adelaide Crows, and they'd be barking at each other, Ken, wouldn't they? Got you, I've got you.
So Norwood have hit the front. They lead 2 straight goals ahead of Central District, 1 goal, 2. The ball's bounced in the centre of the ground. It's Keating who wins this tap. That's been a tremendous duel so far. The 2 tallest players on the ground are having a lot of fun in there as McGowan clears it with the left foot to the wide spaces, but it's Matthew James who leads in the race to the football. He picks it up. Number 21 tries to take on Girdham, is perhaps successful, follows up well through to Cunningham, who's just been everywhere so far. Kicks the ball long, looking for Rowe and Lee. It's Lee with tremendous ability to read that play.
Great mark. Still in a bit of trouble, Central, though. Dickey put enough pressure on Schaefer. The reflex on the up was okay, but there were numbers there. Pascoe. Cunningham, as Ken said, is all over the shop at the moment. Middle of the ground now, Pascoe. Left leg is ugly, but it's still going to find the mark. It was Keating to Dickey. The leg could carry it, though. It's a little heavier, though, the ball. To Lee, who cleans up at the back end and does it remarkably well.
Inboard to Hicks. Hicks stops and props and kicks the ball long, looking for Cook, but the extra height of Keating just back and took a tremendous mark. Eyes on the ball by the big fellow there. Didn't know what's behind him, but really did stand his ground and took a tremendous mark. Miller competes for the football, but there's all tied up by the Central District's aggression, and another ball up will take place.
Yes, we were talking about McGowan and McIntosh. We've hardly seen McIntosh so far, but McGowan must have had 4 or 5 touches. Certainly playing wide of each other just at the moment.
Well, similarly, Cunningham's had a few touches, just quietly. There's McIntosh, but Cunningham in number 16 for the legs. Really having a good one. Giorgio, there is McIntosh. A throw? Yes. Good eyes, umpire.
Here it is.
Look at it.
Oh, yes, he was tackled.
They were good eyes, weren't they? That's a nice little
Yeah,
flick pass.
Exactly.
Sometimes you can get away with it if you've got the umpire on the blind side, but no such luck that time. Stop the play.
I don't think Jimmy Wine wanted to kick through the mud.
Fair enough too. James hands it away to Scott Lee, and Lee to the middle of the ground hits McGowan. Lace out, hands off to Cook, and little Timmy Cook's kick is a beauty. Oh, that's a great entry.
Magnificent. Here it is again, a long one. Lewis certainly making his presence felt, taking over from Flood, who was incapacitated.
I think he can probably see his season right here. If they take the minor premiership as he kicks and gets his second, he can see his season with a door opening in front of him because he's struggled all year, and he knows that if he makes an impact here, he stays there for the season.
Here it is again. McGowan, his vision was good. Across to Cook, a left footer, on to Lewis, who's led particularly well. He's just got the ball to go over the line, the outstretched hands of opponents. That one was a little bit longer than the first one. So after 20 minutes, 2-2 to 2 goals.
And they bounce the ball right in the centre of Elizabeth Oval. Schaefer and Keating compete. It's down into the direction of Girdham, who keeps his body in line with the football. Tremendous play to McGowan, who uses his strength well, puts it out to Bolkwell, but he ran off the line of the ball. The result recipient was Robinson, who kicks the ball really to nobody. Jimmy Wine cleans it up, back into Herrera, who just steadies, good composure, back into Scott Lee, who's run down from defence. Into the midfield, a bit of a change of direction to Stevens, who follows it through to Wakeland, who kicks the ball long, looking for the big fellow Conway, and he leads him, doesn't let him down with a tremendous mark.
They've just got so much composure, the Bulldogs. I was watching Wakeland very carefully as you're calling that. And downfield he had Lewis, who cut in the middle, but the better option was Conway, who presented more on the leg, and he went to the far side. So when you've got two talls like that, you've got Lewis or you've got Conway, Norwood have got a problem.
They're not only running, they're running the ball well. They ran to open spaces. This one mightn't quite make it. Yes, it will, as far as distance is concerned, but certainly offline.
That truly has perhaps been the difference in the game this far. Like Central Districts do lead 2-2 to Norwood's 2 straight goals, but Central have had, to my recollection, about 7 shots for goal and have missed quite a few.
Keating on the far side, couldn't get hold of it. Now Norwood have the runners. It was picked off nicely though by Saywell, and he runs it across the line.
I'll rephrase it. They've had 5 shots for goal, 1 out in the full and 2 misses, which really all were gettable.
Yeah, 2, 4, 5, probably 6 or 7 pings it, as you say. But they're not quite converting, happily for Norwood. 2 number 18s on screen. One's the umpire and one's Aaron Keating. And Keating's got a big job. We're right on time on. 2 players at the bottom of your screen. 15 on the left is Stevens. His direct opponent is Dickey, number 40. And they're very speedy boys. They've got the Acme running boots on, those lads. Way down into attack for the Bulldogs, and Daniels takes it across the line.
Yes, Lewis so far has had the better of his opponent, Lachlan Bowman. His leads have been good and well judged.
He was a good player.
Yes.
Throw-in takes place right in the forward pocket for Central District. Conway tries to grab it out of the air and snap for goal, but he's tied up by the Norwood defence. And a ball up take place about 25 metres out from the Bulldogs' goal in this first quarter. Thrown up in the air. The height of Keating is tremendous, but Cook sharked it well, puts it into the big fellow, but it's read well off the pack by Dickey, who takes a bounce. Doesn't look that naturally gifted on his left-hand side, and he's tied up. We'll see if Jimmy Wine can put one. Brilliant handball through to Potter, back into Cook. He's still got possession of the football. An attempt to goal, and there's a rough kick out of defence, but it was very, very effective in the end. Tremendous, actually, result for the Norwood side by Stephen Daniels.
Yes, watch Daniels. He kicked a touch and got away with it beautifully.
I think it's what Dickey was trying to do before, but elected not to take the option. Stephen Schwert has come off for the Bulldogs, and David Green, number 18, has come onto the deck. Potter, front spot, first access to it, dives over it. The handwork from the Redlegs is pretty good, but here is Green, first touch, options all over the place, sits it up, has a look at the height of Conway. That's the target, no doubt about it, spoiled to the front. And a tough one to take from experience here, because you're looking straight into the sun at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
The Keating took it well.
Keating puts the ball out to Robertson. Doesn't let him down and takes off immediately. So good play from the Redlegs as they try to create some run from half back in the direction of Cunningham. But again, it's Lee. It's picked up by Saywell. Tremendous pickup through to Herrera, who has good vision and picks out Stevens, who's having a big influence on this game early days. Puts the ball in the midfield. Loose checking here by the Norwood side. Girdham, the captain of Central, puts it in the direction of Conway, and a tremendous mark out in front of the body. Strong hands.
Look at those hands, exactly. Plus the height. Didn't give his opponent any opportunity at all.
Just gives you so much confidence, doesn't it, when you work the ball through the midfield, knowing if you hit some space there, the big bloke will run into it and take a mark.
Well, both teams are starting with 3-pronged marking forwards, and if they're given the room to, without pressure, to dispose of the ball into these leading forwards, there's going to be a lot of goal kicks kicked as Conway doesn't let us down with a tremendous result. That's his first goal. It's Central District's third, and they go 3-2, leading Norwood 2 goals straight.
It is again Stevens, significant player at this stage. Good lead to Girdham onto the left foot, as you can see. There's the lead, and good hands. And the left footer makes no mistake.
So 3-2, plays 2 goals. Bulldogs certainly have the edge. Keating laid it down, I thought. It was Giorgio who emerged from the pack. Swinging wide on the left leg. Wakeland had the height. The numbers are there, though, with Norwood. Cunningham. This will be a great reply. Oh, beautiful kick. Cunningham gets his first. The run and overlap was excellent. The entry was good. And you'd go a long way to pick up a textbook and read about all that.
Excellent, wasn't it? Yes, that's here it is again. Let's pick it up. Miller gets the ball out, steadies, kicks his 23rd goal, I think it is, for the season. They've had Reid and Cunningham as their two main goal scorers. They've kicked 70-odd goals between them.
So it's the Bulldogs by 2 points late in this first quarter. First playing second. Central District playing at Elizabeth, their home ground. But it's Keating that wins the tap again. Down to Giorgio yet again, but he's tied up yet again. There's some tremendous strength in these packs.
Schaefer and Keating, arm to arm. Schaefer in the end won it. Dan Tokia to the far side. Daniel is there. They work it around the Redlegs little by little. Nathan Smart, Stephen Rowe. Now Daniel ran into some trouble though. The Bulldogs work it out. Every time they've repelled an attack, I can tell you one man who's been involved in it, Scott Lee. Now McGowan. The space is all over the place here at the Ponderosa. Lots and lots of room to be able to use it if you're prepared to run. And we've got a dead ball on the far side.
Yes, Lee and McGowan, who've both polling very well in media awards, have been very conspicuous again so far today. One all over the field and Lee in defence.
It's the Bulldogs by 2 points. 3 goals apiece. Outer wing at Elizabeth Oval. Bounce. Keating again. Down to Groudon, but couldn't quite control it. And Central Districts clear the football. Dickey over the back, but drops probably a soda in the end. And the ball ends up with his direct opponent in Scott Stevens, who puts the ball well out in front of big Mark Conway. Drops the mark. Good defence, though, by the Norwood.
Really should have wrapped it up, shouldn't he? But you ask yourself the question about a little push here.
Yeah, he was pressured. Yeah, could almost have got a free. Almost.
Actually, looking at it again, I don't think you would pay it, frankly.
Well, that's the good thing about footy, almost, if you're a Central supporter.
Yeah, correct.
Brought down the ground and they can just congregate on that football yet again. There's going to be a lot of this today because these sides are the two best in the competition as it currently stands. It is first playing second. Central District here on their home turf in what is a reasonable surface, a little boggy, a little heavy, but just perfect conditions. Cook with the football, but McIntosh dispossess up to Daniel, on to Davey, clears the football looking for Groudon. Great courage shown by Trevor Groudon.
Was great courage. I thought he was going to get cleaned up there. To centre wing, Harada. The spoil down was as far as Cunningham. He couldn't control it though. Dives back in over the football and McGowan wraps him up. And that's it. An entertaining first term, just 2 points in it. Don't be surprised on ABC Sport if this game has just a couple of points in it at the end. But presently, round 19, 1 versus 2, and it's 2 points in it. The Bulldogs with a slender lead.
First playing second here at Elizabeth. Central District 3-2, leading Norwood 3 straight goals. Magnificent conditions. The ball is bounced. Not a so magnificent bounce though. McGowan pushes it forward and holds his body over it. Saywell can't do the same, and another ball up will take place. So it's a 2-goal lead to the Bulldogs here on their own dunghill in what has been a terrific game of football so far, with the highlights, I believe, the precision disposal into both forward lines. Saywell kicks it out. Matthew James is the recipient, wearing number 54 jersey now. Dan Tocci over to Giorgio, been good in the midfield, but his 4th or 5th possession on the left foot, and not as effective as he would have liked as Brian Harada takes a football. He has been very good at centre-half back.
Oh, he's always very good. I guess comparatively unobtrusive, but just always does his job. How you going there, Gordon? Everything worked out okay? You with us?
I don't think I am.
I think you are. Meanwhile, the ball's at half forward. The Dogs turned over though. Away it goes now to half forward, and Miller's got it. And the big Colossus, that's not your best handball, big fellow. Still with enough time to pick it up and then punch it to within about 30 metres. Reed's in the best spot. Away it goes. And Green handballs away. Nice little piece of movement back there as they get it towards centre wing, and Stevens now will accelerate inboard and has a look at half forward.
Great duel out there with Donald Dickey. The ball is at centre half forward, but it's Todd Davey picks up the football and back to Dan Tokia. So there's youth to experience and great composure by Dan Tokia, who puts it into Cunningham, probably emerging as the best player at this stage on the deck. Flicks it to Giorgio. They've both been prolific in the midfield. Giorgio puts it out in front of Ashley Reed, who is strong with her hands and takes a mark some 55 metres out from goal. Ashley Reed.
Reed's coming away from goal, long way away, leaving Pascoe as the full forward.
Transfers the football directly into centre half forward, where Nathan Smart has taken the mark. Looks very much like Anthony Harvey, low to the ground. He's a left footer, however, there's a difference. He's a long kick. It's going to make the distance. That's a tremendous goal. That's his first snag. Number 45, Nathan Smart, for the Norwood side, and that puts his team in front.
Good carry on the leg.
Yes, I thought he'd be too far out there. He kicked from about 50. Only a little fella. One of those left footers are not the most accurate, but that one was good.
Yes, he did well. The goal kickers, Lewis has a couple. The rest are singles. A good list, though, on the right side. Smart, Reed, Pascoe and Cunningham getting amongst them. 3 minutes in, 4 goals, plays 3-2, 4 points in it. Central are not going to get it all their own way as they did last week against the Eagles. It was bustled forward by Girdham. Emerging from the scene, though, and doing it pretty well was Harvey. To the 15-metre line, Pascoe harassed and hurried out of it by Wakeland. Wakeland turns around, does it pretty well, and then turns around again. The options are few and far between. They work it out. Hereda back to Wakeland, hugging the boundary line, keeps it inside and does it okay, but Cunningham spoils it across the line.
It was good football across there. Good hand passing. McGowan, of course, involved as usual, covering a wide area.
So it's the Redlegs by 4 points early in the second quarter. Miller competes with Schaefer. Great body strength by Miller. Palms it down in the direction of his teammates. Giorgio will emerge at front position. Peels it further on to Rowe, who just flicks it to McIntosh, puts it out the front to Harvey. What can Harvey do? Great vision with the hands, as always, over to Reed, but he's been pursued by any number of Central District's defenders. Back to Smart on the left foot, looks for the big fellow Pascoe. Good defence, good spoil, and I think the Bulldogs will clear through Lee. No, he's tied up well by Growden. Wind perhaps in the back, yes. The recipient of the free kick will be James Wind in defence for the Bulldogs.
Here it is, yes, there's no doubt about that one. He was taken forward with it.
The game's starting to warm up now. Stevens, good luck, Scotty. There were 3-on-1 before Saywell arrives. A little quieter for James in that first quarter, but Stevens has got it, not before a whistle goes for a free kick. The Growler's got it.
Yes, Saywell can't get into the game at this stage, and a little bit frustrated on that occasion.
Miller couldn't take that one. Centre half forward for him. The handball was a bit hot for McGowan. Free kick play on. Schaefer puts the foot to the floorboards and then goes towards half forward where Borkel's lurking. He needs some support. Still gets the kick away and then gains 25, perhaps 30 metres. Girdham, numbers are against him as well. Cotton feigns it, then comes back on the left leg. His kick is a tough one to take. Conway does okay in the tractor tyres down there, in the marks by the tractor tyres. And the ball just stays inside. We'll have a bounce down, I imagine, sometime shortly.
It's pretty soft down in that particular corner, isn't it?
Curator's corner.
Nothing in it. 4 goals to Norwood. 3-2 to Central.
Across the boundary line, Lockie Bowman's there. Good crowd in. And they're in reasonably pensive mood at the moment. Neither side getting a real break.
Growden in the hands of the trainers appear to get a knock in the thigh.
Gordon Swartz is our guest commentator, former journalist, and in fact, may I say, football icon in this state.
You may say that.
Thank you.
Everybody tells lies.
I reckon Potter's picking up Growden, Ken, at the moment. He's looks as though they rate him pretty highly. They're going man for man on him. Here though, around the body is Cook. He loves kicking those. It was partly smothered though. McIntosh handballs, away go the Redlegs. To Growden, who is, as I said, being marked by Potter. And finally the ball goes across the line.
Well, if that's the case, then Saywell will be taking Cunningham. But it's only, I think, only been a momentary change. As Potter is there lined up again.
He's quite right.
On ball.
Cook, nothing going. Green emerges with the footy. That is a high ball and a hard one to take at the back. Norwood in the best spot. Spoiled forward. Stevens now with the task at hand. It comes out the back to Scotty. Does okay. The handball to McGowan, a chance. Just held on okay. The tackle was excellent. Lewis probably should have handed off because he worked his way onto the incorrect foot for him. Around the body, good take, Gurdon. Used the body magnificently.
Yes, Lewis did that particularly well. Once again, hooked it back. And Gurdon
just protected the ball on the fall of it.
Didn't give the opposition a chance, did he?
228 games for Roger. Only 94 goals now in all of those games, but that's a very important one to put them back in front.
There's a change. The big fellow, Keating, coming off. Easter going on. So they're fortunate to have those two big fellows. Easter's played pretty well this year with a couple of other imports, Giorgio and Cunningham.
Central District hit the front again. 4 goals to 26, leading Norwood. 4 goals straight, 24 behinds. Eastor launches himself at the football, is successful with that tap, but it's Gurdon, the recipient, dispossessed in very congested play, and a ball up will result. That was a great captain's goal by Roger Gurdon, one against the flow to see his Bulldogs again take the lead.
Very fitting, isn't it? 1 versus 2, and we've had 5 lead changes so far in this game. Eastor goes to lay it down. Tough one to take. Whistle's gone. A bit prematurely, and we're going to have a bounce down in the middle. 4-2 to 4 goals. Pretty accurate stuff at the 8.5-minute mark of the second term. Rowe, round the body, and Lee. I think he hasn't short-circuited a few plays. That kick's very ordinary, though, to Schaefer. And Schaefer's work around the ground has been better. Perhaps squared off with Keating in the ruck duel so far. Lee always finds the target and good play. Borkle just called McGowan back, allowed him to take it. McGowan a little lazily on perhaps the left side. Davey picks it off. Hands off to number 54, who started in 21. Matthew James, short pass gets Growden.
Growden on centre wing, having a good duel with Saywell. Probably well on top of him, though, at this stage. The other wing would probably see Stevens on top of Dickey. Kicks the ball long in the direction of his key forward, Miller, playing at centre-half forward. Scott Lee looking for the free kick. The members love him. They think it should have been paid.
Yes, I would have possibly paid a free there, but you've got to, I suppose, they give away the Ticky Touchwood ones and just allow the others to be paid.
So Bulldogs by 2 points. First playing second here at Elizabeth Oval, the home of the Bulldogs.
It's the home of the Bulldogs, all right. They sewed up the minor premiership out here last year. I wonder if they'll be able to do it this afternoon. Mathematically, as people are prone to saying anything's possible, but they'll go a long way towards sewing it up here this afternoon with a win. They work it forward with Smart. Oh, the take from Reid was excellent. Now what can Cunningham do? Oh, he's throwing the ball, Reid. That was really going to be a test of Cunningham, but never got the opportunity. Watch this.
Yes, it was the tackle from behind. A good tackle by Borkrul. Up towards Potter.
A bit tough on the call. That was a good hand pass by Cook, and a magnificent take by Borkrul at half forward.
Borkrul, one of the 3-pronged tools in the Central District forward line. Kicks the ball long in the direction of Conway, but a good spoil over the back from Bowman. But here's Saywell emerging with a footy. He's only 20 metres out and does not make a mistake. For his first goal, the Bulldogs 5th, and they lead 5-2 to the Norwood side, 4 straight goals.
Yes, it all started back here with Potter, and eventually Gurdon came and congratulated him as Saywell, who advanced from the wing to beyond half forward, popped it through for their 5th goal.
I think that's always something special too, when you might be getting beaten in disposals, but if you can answer with a goal, it soon equals the ledger, doesn't it?
It's all that matters, really. 5-2 to 4 goals. 11.5 minutes now have gone. Schaefer ducked ahead in the contest as Girdham is resting at half forward, if there was any such thing. Dantokia, Harvey, those lads have got to lift the work rate just a little to get over the top of Central, who through Stevens, McGowan and Girdham are just getting on top at the moment. Here is Stevens within about 55. Cotton, Davies with the task on him. Comes out the back to Robinson. The tackling in both forward departments has been excellent. They work it out. Davey gets on the end of it. Rowe. And Stevens' kick goes to half forward left side. What's happened? A free kick down the ground. Miller rocks back. Oh, gee. How many times do you think Scott Lee's done that?
He's reading the ball beautifully.
Certainly
To
is.
Schaefer. Schaefer has got on top too, now that Keating is off the ball.
Schaefer looking for Stevens. It's Girdham in the front and square. Magnificent position for any ruck rover to be. It's kick forward to Lurs and Stevens on the run, who's followed up his disposal magnificently, and Conway out in front, the big man with such height, such strength, takes a good mark with strong hands.
That's all they have to do, isn't it, Gordon? Just pop it up there and the big man takes it.
A little bit late coming in, and some of his Central colleagues were a little incensed about it. Yes, when you're that high, you're almost reaching the sky. And,
you made a comment, Gordon, just a moment ago about the fact that they've lost a bit, Norwood, since Keating went off. I think you're quite right. It's coincided with Central lifting a bit, and Norwood not quite having the dominance in the midfield, so they might need to change that back again if they can.
Conway is inaccurate with his shot for a goal, and that, to me, Gordon, I think is his third miss.
I've only got him, well, he's got 2 points. Did the other one go out on the full? Correct.
So a little more accuracy needed by the key forward for the Bulldogs team. But they are in front. They lead by 9 points early in the second quarter. Kicked out by Stephen Daniel, long to centre-half back. Eastor goes to punch it on. McIntosh, but it's Redway's direct opponent, McGowan, who was tackled ferociously, and a free kick is deemed to Giorgio.
Giorgio plays it on. Half forward. Lee is there this time. The Colossus takes it. He does okay, Jason Miller. Doesn't waste any time at all. The pass is okay. Reed lost feet, but is going to get a free kick.
No, I think he slipped.
Tough
I'd
call,
like to
isn't
see
it?
that again. I thought his foot went from under him. Well, did it? I still think he slipped.
Well, I think you're right.
Whether it was Hicks' boot that coincided with Reed's boot, I wouldn't like to say, but I thought the first movement was a slip.
Well, it's academic in a sense, because Reed is going to have a shot from just inside the 50-metre line. Right post required. Beautiful leg. An absolute beauty. Reed gets his first. In fact, it's his second. One at the 15-minute mark of the first term, to the boos and hoots of this Central District crowd. At the 14.5-minute mark, they get back within 3 points.
I'd like to look at that again. It's Miller that started the momentum. Yeah, I think he was a little bit lucky, but the kick was great.
Beautiful kick.
And again, it's a 2-goal turnaround. The one that Conway missed at the other end, it's come straight down the ground, and a result and goal to the Norwood team on the rebound. The ball in the centre of the ground, bounced high. Schaefer down to McGowan, wind, Potter, good exchange of handball. Stevens, perhaps one too many, as Dan Tokia dispossesses his opponent. Could have been deemed a throw there, I think, up off the turf. Giorgio emerges with the football, looking for Robinson, who controls it well with the right hand, balances well and puts the ball out in front of Miller. Miller having a big influence in the last few minutes, has definitely got on top of her radar. He kicks the ball long to centre-half forward, full forward area, and over the back is Pascoe. The ball spills to ground. Reed can't pick it up off the ground. He now successful back into Cunningham. Cunningham back into Smart, must be deemed holding the ball. The umpire lost his whistle momentarily. Rowe flicks it on to Reed, who's followed up well and snaps with a brilliant goal. He's third, and that puts the Redlegs in front. They lead 6 goals straight, 36 to Central District's 5 goals straight, 33.
Two decisions there. Two decisions that could have been holding the ball. This was holding the ball, not according to the umpire. And the result, another goal to Reed. Good snap.
Well, you could also point at Stephen Rowe's little flick there, couldn't you? On the blind side of the umpire. Got away with it. But it just doesn't matter because Norwood are in front again for the 6th time in this game. The lead changes hands. 3 points the difference, 36 to 33. It's turning out to be a great game. We expected a lot of it. It's not let us down so far. Here's Miller. You're quite right, Ken. He has lifted enormously to Harvey, who doesn't miss from here. Watch this, he'll miss it. Always does when you say that.
It is unfortunate, as commentating, we do seem to put the moz on it, don't we? Anthony Harvey is usually the most reliable. Like, he just has great skills with the football. Scott Lee prepares to kick in. Interesting. Dan Tokia kicking out for Norwood and Lee for Central. Finds he's a great player for Central District. Playing in the centre of the ground today, Ricky McGowan. Transfers it to young James Saywell, who puts it further on to Scott Stevens, who's covering a lot of territory on his wing. In fact, he's right over on the other wing at the moment. It's Robinson who follows up, flicks it up to Davey, who takes his eye off the football at a crucial stage, and the ball spills through James, back to Robinson. Robinson transfers the ball inboard looking for Miller.
Miller just held out of it, but has lifted, no doubt about it. Wakeman, oh, look out, because Big Jace was after him. The short pass is good. Just broke up the play. He carries the line now and finds a player. Got to pay that. Cotton gets it, meanwhile an interchange. I think Potter has struggled. He goes off and Gary Ellis comes on.
Yes, the man who's had a big influence in the last 10 minutes has been Miller at centre-half forward for Norwood. He's got right on top of Herrera.
It's like he's been off the leash all of a sudden, isn't it?
Yes. Herrera had a very good first quarter.
It's going to be an important player for the Miller. This is Cotton. Jared Cotton lifts the eyes and sees the ball go through. For his first, it was a beautiful kick. And guess what? The lead's changed again. 7 times through the game so far, 2 points of difference.
It came down from Stevens to Gurdon and nicely held here by Cotton. Last year he mightn't have kicked that for distance.
We've seen some good stuff.
He held it, yes.
Plenty of free-flowing footy at the moment. Cotton got on the end of that one, but the movement, it hasn't been at the expense of the tackling, mind you, but the movement's been excellent.
It's a terrific football. 6 goals, 3 Central District, leading Norwood 6 goals, 1. Eastore down to McIntosh, but he fumbled the football. Gurdon comes through and perhaps should have received a free kick yet again. The Central District supporters are going berserk. Out in front of Ellis, but James was equal to the task, now wearing Guernsey number 54. Started with number 21, playing on the half-back flank. His third opponent, in fact, for the day. Potter and Gerda were changing. It's Potter and Gerda. And now Ellis is onto that forward flank at the expense of Potter, who's off the ground. Saywell up to McGowan. In tight, pushes it out in the front of Ellis, and he takes the ball running away with the flight of the footy. Kicks the ball long to the forward flank, where it's a tremendous lead being presented by Bulkwell. Bulkwell in very heavy bog out here in front of... There's a lot of tractor tyre marks in this area of the ground. It's very soft underfoot. Takes the percentage kick and puts it long and high in the direction of Conway, but at the front of the pack is Cunningham, and Cunningham clears away from the Redlegs defence.
Groudon, good mark, Saywell. In fact, the umpire deemed that both had a play, and Gurdon puts the hands up as if to say, well, you pay the man in front normally. And our director's been good enough to show us this one again.
I think Groudon had his hands on it almost as much. Quarter as much.
Tough ones to call, aren't they?
They are.
Gurdon, look at him attack. Like a little bomber. Not like a little Mackie jet. Roger Gurdon, 30 years old. Still going strong.
He really is an inspirational captain and does lead by example on every occasion. As the ball comes into the midfield area. Flicked up by Norwood with quick and neat hands, but being deemed to throw.
I think McIntosh was penalised.
A little bit behind the ball, a little behind the play. His direct opponent, Ricky McGowan, takes a free kick. Oh, we're not quite sure what's taking place here. There's been a relayed free kick from down at full back.
No, it hasn't. I'll tell you what's happened is that the umpire off the ball has said, no, the wrong man's got it. It should be McIntosh's free kick. Now, why he didn't say something earlier is beyond me, but anyway, they play it on meantime through Cunningham.
Cunningham has been a magic player early in this game.
Oh!
And there's a magic mark. That is just a tremendous mark by Smart.
Yes, he still has his head, only just. Showed a lot of courage there. Player from behind.
There's been a couple of great examples of courage, one by Trevor Growden early in the first quarter, and that one then by Nathan Smart as he kicks the long left foot shot for goal, and it is accurate. That is his second goal, and the Norwood Redlegs hit the front. 7 goals 1 to Central District, 6 goals 3.
There's 13 goals. Just watch this player again, where he makes front position, eyes on the ball. Didn't matter from what happened behind. Here's the shot, left footer. It's his second for the quarter. 13 goals 4.
He's impressed me, Smart. He's been tremendous at ground level.
Back in the centre. 7-1 to 6-3. The game is literally alight here, and as I said earlier, it was full of expectation. We've not been let down so far.
The last 7 or 8 minutes, Eastdoor has come into it too against Schaefer. It's made a lot of difference at the bounces.
Sure does. 22.5 minutes gone. Just laid down again by Eastdoor, who's jumping a little bit higher and stronger. Growden in over the footy. And nothing happening. Another bounce down. Norwood by 4 points. I wonder if we'll see these two square off in the finals somewhere along the line. Pretty good chance of it. Rowe. Saywell in there. Number 10 is Girdham. And symptomatic of the day, it's been tough and tight. The dome at the bottom there, we've got a bounce down.
They brought Conway onto the ball for Central District, and Schaefer resting at full forward. Certainly a height advantage for Conway.
Yeah, I wonder if that's in response to Eastdoor, as you said quite rightly, just winning the taps over the last couple of minutes, or whether Schaefer's just looking for a break. Perhaps a little bit of both. Cotton, held or not held? Yes, says the umpire.
Central District supporters may have contributed to that one. They yell very early.
It happens a bit, doesn't it?
Doesn't
48 games for Cotton. And he puts it within about 20 to the front. Cook intelligently backwards to wind. The kick is offline though. Will it carry? Not quite a mark to Borkwell to give them a chance to snatch the lead once more.
Jimmy Wine hasn't been in the play a great deal. Got the ball up into the air this time, and well judged. Played Borkwell in opposition to 2 Norwood opponents. Fairly acute angle. Oh, he pays it out to Stevens. Now he's a long way from goal.
Certainly a better angle, but a lot further out, as you say. Both of them are looking into the sun.
Stevens has had as many kicks as anyone, I would imagine. Covered terrific terrain.
It's he and McGowan and Lee, perhaps the 3 standouts. Doesn't make the distance, in fact, and Norwood spoil it through and maintain the lead. So perhaps an error of judgment by the Bulldogs. Half-time is nigh, 24.5 minutes gone. 7-1 to 6-4. Norwood play it in to the grandstand side. A couple of players. Dickey. First possession for him for a while. Touches it on the ground. The chase is provided by Ellis. And Robinson picked off the chaser. Girdham the pressure. What's happened there? Out on the full. The ball's bounced inside. Well, believe it or not, the ball's bounced inside. And I can only assume that the boundary umpire said that it floated out and then came back in.
It's an unusual one, wasn't it?
Well, it's a wrong one, as in my book. If it bounces in, it's in. Call me old-fashioned. Oh, Robinson's copped one in the face. Then got tackled. Perhaps the Central people weren't quite able to see it, but he got one high early.
Oh, holding the ball.
A little slap first, I think, Gordon.
You think so? Right. The umpire thought so. He agreed with you.
66 games for Robbo. I'd love to get another one before half-time. Green. Towards Smart again, who, as Ken said, has been in everything. Quite impressive. Another bounce down.
It's almost half-time. 3 points the difference. Norwood 7-1, Central 5-4.
Nearly 26 minutes gone. Eastdoor got up over the top. Work it out. Again, close to the boundary line. Miller, who's been so very good. Best position, though, is Hereda. Working back. Look out. Did it okay.
He did it well.
just kept his head. The Daniel. Norwood boys still put the pressure on, and Eastall drifts across and takes an excellent mark. Dennis will leave it there for a bit, I think. Lee gets it to the centre half-back position. Half-time looming. Gurdon zips around and then gets it towards Stevens. The pressure is on. There's not an easy kick to be had out there, but Daniel will give an easy kick out there towards Wakeland. Just sits up nicely for him. Borkwell says run and then runs into the chaser, but Davies still got around him. Excellent teamwork. Not quite going to come off, though. It goes down into the forward pocket, and Robinson cleans it up. We're back here at Elizabeth Oval. The game's just underway in this second 60 minutes. 3 points of difference, having been 2 at quarter time. And it's really set for something pretty good. Conceivably, the minor premiership could be stitched up here this afternoon by Central District. Ken Sheldon makes his way to the back of the grandstand. Gordon Schwartz, how do you see this second half going?
Well, if it's as good or uncompromising as the first half, we're going to have a match that will take us right through until almost to the final side. It was a magnificent first half. Fortunes fluctuating, that hackneyed phrase, but neither side able to dominate. And as you mentioned, 9 changes in that time.
Right towards that danger zone, though, for the Bulldogs. Potter spent some time off the ground. He will not concede the ball. And as you can see, fighting for it with everything he possibly had. Norwood, they took Keating off the ground for a little while during the second term, and they lost a bit when that happened. Eastall came on in a moment's football. They lost a couple of goals, but they got a bit back because Eastall lifted his game. I think that might have been touched anyway before Davey lunged at it. And Todd Davey sees it across the line. Let's just have another look as we see Davey desperately towards the line. Got a finger tipper on it, and it goes through. 2 minutes have gone, 7-5 to 7-1, and we've had not more than 7 points in it for the whole game between these two sides. This is Dickey, hands it up to Davey, to Robinson. The run is okay now to half forward. Good Mark Miller, but he's given the free kick away. Can't believe it, but that's exactly what's happened.
Here it is. Yes, the kick coming out of defence. Miller, who played well in that second half, just pushes Herrera out of the road and is penalised.
And Ken Miller's been pretty good in that second term.
Yes, he really did, I think, create a real focal point for the Norwood side, particularly through the middle of the quarter. As McIntosh, long with the left foot to centre-half forward, looking for Miller, comes to the front where Giorgio picks it up tremendously. Back to in the direction of Reed. Growden, clear with the football, puts it out in front of the Cunningham. Oh, there was a bit of, I guess, misunderstanding there between him and Pascoe, and it's tied up in defence by the Bulldog defenders. So it's the Bulldogs by 4 points in the opening part of this third quarter. The Bulldogs first on the SNFL ladder, playing at home against second place Norwood. Scott Lee. Stephen Rowe, number 3 for the Norwood Guernsey. It's been a lot of ball-ups, Gordon.
Yes, they have. It's been played at close quarters on many occasions. Played a vigorous game, close checking game, a good game.
Schaefer has been tremendous in ruck, having a great duel with Keating, Eastor, who have interchanged. And on this occasion, he's dueling with the centre-half forward for the Norwood side in Miller, who knocks the ball strong with the left hand. They fight for the football, and it's McGowan who pushes the ball to the safety of the boundary. His team are in front by 4 points. Early moments after the long interval.
I think for Norwood to win this game, McIntosh has to play a bigger part.
Well, I'm surrounded by plenty of football intelligence. I'm going to ask you guys in just a moment who you think can win in a word. Gordon?
I'll still go along with Central District.
Ken?
Well, I've declared that at half-time under pressure, Stephen, I do think. But I must say, the absence of flood prior to the game, you'd almost lean towards Norwood, but Simon Lewis has responded well.
There was McIntosh, couldn't take it quite. Central District now emerged with a footy. It was Hicks. He gets the kick towards Potter. Potter a second attempt, couldn't quite take it. 54 is Matthew James. If you're a bit concerned about it, he started in 21 and has changed it. Umpire's going to call a ball in.
This could almost have got a free there, with Easto dropping right on top of him.
So it's Easto and Herrera. Herrera with the left hand down to Girdham, right hand down to Girdham. Picked up by Stevens, spins. Inboard looking for Cook, but Dan Tokia holding front position. He's a great player, Dan Tokia, very experienced, always doing the right thing. The little 1%ers in front, using his body and his experience as he kicks long to centre half forward, looking for Miller, but over the back Schaefer, strong spoil. Well read by Growden. Inboard to Easter, poor kick though, although it will be to the advantage of the Redlegs as Reed picks it up off the half volley back into Cunningham. McIntosh on his own, running into open goal. Is he good enough to finish? Yes, I think he is, and that's a great captain's goal for the Norwood side. It puts them in front. 8 goals 1. They lead Central District 7 goals 5.
Yes, it was McIntosh who finished that one off. An exchange of hand passes. Watch them. Reed again. A long hand pass, an intelligent hand pass across to Cunningham. McIntosh scouting beautifully and finishing it off with that left foot of his. But McGowan was more effective for Central in the first half than McIntosh was for Norwood.
326 games for Macca. 165 goals for him now. 6.5 minutes have gone in the championship term. 8-1 to 7-5. I know I've said it before, but if you've just joined us, the lead has changed 9 times and 10 now with that score as Lewis takes it up the front. Took it well out in front of the eyes and has a chance to kick his third.
Here it is again from Cotton. Cotton played quite well on the half-forward line, and Lewis has led well.
Very capable player, Simon Lewis. Right foot. Oh, that's a nice kick. It's an excellent kick. And guess what? The score's changed again in terms of the league. And Central District have it, and they just will not lie down. 4 points of difference.
Yes, that was his third goal. He kicked 2 in the first quarter with good leads and kicks that were around about 45 metres. Here it is again. Yes, good strong hands. Formerly from the Brisbane Bears. Yes, and a good kick.
And a pretty good replacement for David Flood.
Yes, he has.
Central District 8 goals 5, lead Norwood, 8 goals 1. Schaefer and Eastore compete. Schaefer receives perhaps his own tap, but it's only to be collected by Robinson, playing at centre-half pack on Bulkwell. Further to Giorgio, who puts the ball looking for Miller. Well spoilt from defence as it's cleared by the Central District side. McGowan being harassed by Miller, but steady as you like, cool and inboard, and picks out his ruckman and big Robert Schaefer, wearing number 2 for the Bulldog team.
It was just so polished from McGowan, wasn't it? So cool.
Yes, onto the wrong foot. If I call the left foot as far as he's concerned. Beautiful pass.
And the ball goes out of bounds on the grandstand side. 8-5 to 8-1. Pretty good kicking from both sides. Just 4 points in it. On ABC Sport, we're 8 minutes into the third term. And the Bulldogs, every good chance to stake a real claim on the minor premiership. One that this year will be very beneficial to them. Last year it wasn't really, as they had that bye in the last round. Scott Lee's in the action there, as you just see him leaning over the footy. And in my opinion, the best player on the park in the first half.
Yes, he was terrific in defence. He just really did clean up everything and really stopped an avalanche of Norwood attacks. Schaefer down to Hereda. All tied up in there. It's tough and it's hard as Dickey tries to force the ball forward in the direction of Harvey. Cunningham it is with the footy. Flicks it further onto Harvey. He's got plenty of time. Harvey, the leading read, and he's got him lace outs.
Yes, that was good football, wasn't it? From Harvey, saw Reid. Reid's played pretty well. There's Harvey's pass to Reid. Though he's only kicked, what's he kicked? 3, I think. Only 3. That's perhaps a little bit unfair to Reid. He's also been responsible for other goals.
His approach to goal is very deliberate, and the goal umpire, I think, will deem it true. Yes, it is. It's his 4th goal, Ashley Reid. Been a fine player for Norwood after crossing from Melbourne Football Club. Prior to that, playing with St Kilda.
Ashley Reid's, developing a very consistent full forward. He hasn't kicked as many big hauls of goals as we probably would have liked during the season, but he's very rarely been kept to 1 or 2. He's kicked his 3s and 4s all the way through, which is probably all we can ask of a full forward. And it's a long season to keep having to produce. And generally throughout the season, he's come up with 3 or 4 goals and given a few away every week, which is our main demand of a full forward.
Coach Peter Rode clearly happy with his full forward. If he can kick 4 or 5 in finals games, he's going to make a lot of difference to this Norwood side, because they'll get it up there enough times for the talls and the leading players to do okay. Here's Cotton, just lost feet at the wrong time. Has been well covered by Davey throughout the game. Cotton played this one okay. Little game of cat and mouse. Cotton won it, couldn't quite control it in the end. Finally, Cook arrives to lend some help. Daniel, short pass. Where's Balkwell? He's right on the end of it and takes a good mark. Persistence pays.
One of the real features of this game is when one side has goal, the opposition most times has won it out of the centre on the very next occasion, like in an answering thrust towards their goal. It's tremendous, just a tremendous discipline by the responding team.
Here's Balkwell. No score in terms of a goal for him yet, and not yet. Through for behind.
Andrew Balkwell, who came back to us this year. He started the year very well. Unfortunately, the last couple of weeks he hasn't been getting enough of the ball, so we'll be looking for a big lift from him.
So it's Norwood by 1 point as Dan Tokia kicks in, and through the defence they come with the fleet-footed Davey. Not so good of kit though, he wouldn't be too happy with that as Craig Potter picks the ball up back to Balkwell, who forces the ball back to Lure's direction, and he responds with a great mark. He had the jump on Robertson. He set himself, he's kicked 2 or 3 from this distance and would rate himself, although I'll tip this one, Stephen, to be touched right on the line.
You enjoyed it though, Gordon. I could tell
yes,
you
I
got
did.
up out of the chair.
Yes, he's got good hands. He's taken, 5, 6 good marks today. As you said earlier, proved a worthy replacement for Flood.
Here's Lewis.
No, he won't make the distance.
It's okay to call it after he's kicked it, men. But you're quite right, Ken. Not quite there and across the line. Beautiful markers, Simon Lewis. Perhaps one of the areas of his game that isn't quite so strong is the kicking part. But as I said, the marking is excellent. And that is a strong one. Boundary line throw-in. right adjacent to that left post. Norwood work it out with numbers. Rowe, incisive little handball, did it okay to James, fleeing the scene from the defensive 50-metre mark. He puts it to the far side. Miller, excellent in that last part of the second term to Dickey, who's been well blanketed by Stevens. Back to James, short pass, and finally Cunningham gets loose. Lee's on the mark. Cunningham plays on. The left foot is okay, but Wakeland's athletically got first hand to the football. Makes a second effort at it, gets it, kicks it high, and Lee makes the best spot. Oh, there's a lot of experience in that piece of movement.
Scott Lee been a sensational player here today. Puts the ball inboard and it's cleared through the Central District defence. Further inboard it comes to McGowan, who's just prolific. He's just covered an enormous amount of ground. He puts the ball with the left foot out in front of Lures, almost takes it, but equal to the task is Bowman, who puts it further with a toe poke to his own advantage. In pursuit is James Saywell. Almost kicks it off the ground before Bowman was able to receive it. Dan Tokia ties it up, and a ball up takes place. SANFL updates sees the Eagles in front of West by 6 points. And at the Glenelg North Adelaide game, it's North Adelaide well in front by 46.
And of course tomorrow, Sturt are playing South Adelaide at Strathalbyn. It should be a pretty close game. All of the pairings today see sides playing just one side, either below or above them. A very evenly matched round. Miller, Schaefer, holding the ball. How did you see it?
I wondered whether he played holding the ball, do you think, or a throw? I'll go along with your better judgment.
Tell you what, it's that far here at Elizabeth
Yes, it's a
Oval.
long way away.
Unless you're watching it on the monitor in front here, you need binoculars.
And Norwood have responded to McGowan's brilliance. They've put Anthony Harvey into the centre of the ground, and Gary McIntosh now residing in the forward pocket. Playing up the field, though, to an open, dual-pronged forward line.
Oh.
As Rowe emerges with the football, tremendous crumb, takes a bounce, puts the ball out in front of the leading Pascoe. Equal to the task is the Central District's defence. Tremendous defence. Girdham over the top to Stevens, who always brings it inboard, flicks it further on to McGowan. McGowan's just been magnificent, puts it out in front of Conway. Robertson, great courage, but tremendous mark to the leading big man in Conway.
There it is, about 6'9" of him.
It was a great piece of movement. Just a fabulous piece of movement through the midfield, finished up with Conway. Norwood are going to be able to block it down, though, and give themselves a chance to regroup. Now, just back where that marking contest was taking place, right here where Conway takes it from the McGowan kick, one of the Norwood players, I think it's Eastor, is hurt. And watch for number 27. In fact, it might be Bowman. We'll pick that up in just a tick. Cook. Ball goes across the line in the hands of the trainers. It is Lockie Bowman as well at centre half back. So they've got a few problems at the moment, Norwood. They need to hang on. There he is, Lockie. Because Central have lifted, they just have to hang on.
So Bowman is playing on Lures, who has been magnificent since coming into the side to replace David Flood. The ball goes forward into the Norwood side, but yet again to be turned out by that ever-reliable Scott Lee, wearing number 12 for the Central side. Uses the ball to the advantage of his ruckman, Schaefer. That was a good kick, well weighted, out in front of his teammate, and the Central District side create run across half-back, and there's further runners. Jared Cotton on his natural left foot puts the ball to the goal square. Conway in front, it comes to the crumb.
Oh.
Cleared to Keating. Keating with good hands over to Davies, and Davies, cool as you like, changes it out of defence.
McGowan just played for that one and did it beautifully.
Put it down. He put it down just in time and then was grabbed. Could see what was going to happen. Keating has just come back onto the field in place of Easto. McGowan played, well, you mentioned Scott Lee being close to best. McGowan has had a great game, and so has Stevens, centre wing. Three of them, I think, have been outstanding as far as Central are concerned.
I'll be surprised if there weren't some McGarry medal votes amongst them today. That trio. And Keating, I think this is a pretty good move to bring him back on. Eastor just starting to struggle a little bit. Keating had a keen duel with Schaefer earlier in the game. It's belted forward to James, and so too in there is Dickey, Dan Tokia. Here's James again. Left hand was reluctant, but still got it away. Speaking of reluctant, Harvey just didn't want to dispatch it. Turned over. Was beautiful, Gordon, as well. Wind, hands it off to David Green. On in the first turn for David. Round the corner he goes. Beautiful vision. Centrals have lifted, and they're finding the mark.
And Norwood have responded with a couple of moves. They've put Nathan Bassett onto the ground to curb the brilliance of Simon Lewis, and they've changed Bowman across onto Big Conway, who has been something special. The two of them, I think, Stephen, as a dual-pronged attack.
This is Bulkwell. Score check, 1 point the difference. Norwood in front. Oh, good mark taken back there, or a free kick, I think. I'm not sure that Bowman's going to get it. No, it's not going to be. It's going to go to Keating. So still, Norwood will stay in front. The impression you get, though, is that it's not for long the way Central are plundering the goal.
Keating clears the ball long to the outer back flank to where the mark has been taken by Donald Dickey. Dickey kicks the ball long from the 50-metre defence line, looking for Miller, who just punches the ball strongly over the boundary line. Realised he couldn't mark it.
Pascoe coming off, Gordon. Maybe Peter Rhodes starting to feel as though Norwood are a bit top-heavy.
Yes, they brought Toomey on. Toomey's been quite a valuable player for them.
Boundary line there. A very worried Norwood bench. Giorgio. One of his quieter games for a while, I imagine. To centre wing, Miller has worked fairly well through centre half forward. Gets a shove there and gets a free kick. That's an easy decision for the umpire to make. I wish everyone was quite that straightforward. 52 games for Miller. Now to half forward he goes. The space is with Harvey. Beautiful little snare as well as he puts the foot to the floorboards and then bangs it up to within about 35 metres. But that, even if Stephen Rowe took it, is impossible to kick goals from here at Elizabeth Oval. A little bit deep in the pockets here. You need to hit the goal front.
Impossible?
Very difficult. Very, very difficult.
Almost impossible.
That's right. Nothing's impossible. But would have been a tough one.
Potter clears the football, but it's a poor kick in the end, as McGowan unfortunately had slipped, providing a target for him and his direct opponent Gary McIntosh. So some interesting moves being made. They're all in and out of the centre by the Norwood side, a number of players in rotation, and this player is one of them, Gary McIntosh, a famous name in football. Kicks the ball to the goal square, looking for Reid over the back. It's bouncing towards goal, but Wakeland clears it, and with plenty of time, clears the ball in the direction of Scotty Stevens. But good tremendous mark by Trevor Groudon.
Yes, he judged that beautifully. Stevens appeared to have front spot.
Just couldn't quite, though, could he? I thought the Wakeland kick was okay. Reid is going to be paid it.
And what about that for a mark? One out against three Bulldog defenders, put the left hand out, and the second opportunity was able to take it and will line up for, I think, his fourth goal.
Here it is, a left-hander, brings it down onto the chest. Yes, he certainly played well. Kicked 4 goals, takes his season's tally to 54. This could make 55.
And his fifth, Ken.
Glad I said think. Good approach. Good kick.
Beautiful kick.
That's his 5th goal. He has been a tremendous player here today. Provided just some tremendous fast leads for his midfielders who have come down and been equal to the task and been able to put the ball out in front of him. That one not so flash, but Reid equal to the task.
Here it is again. Sensational kicking out here. 10 goals won by Norwood. 8-5.
Peter Rode would be a little happier now. They've kicked clear by 7 points. They're in second spot, and the coveted top spot is the lure for today. They've beaten the Bulldogs twice this year. Tell you what, if they go into the finals and they match up and Central haven't beaten them throughout the year, there's going to be that nagging doubt at the back of the mind about whether they can do it. And of course, it will jeopardise their minor premiership as Lee gets it from the deck. He did it pretty well too, did Roger Gurdon, from half back to half forward. The pass is magnificent. It's with Jared Cotton. And Jared's really had the clippers to the hair. Bordering on 50 games. Has a penetrating kick. He's changed the kicking style this year. It just gets a little bit more carry now. The spoiler's okay towards the danger zone, right in that centre corridor. Kicks free to McIntosh. The little legs are pumping away. And wasn't getting anywhere for just a moment, but finally got hold of the football. Magnificent, deft little pass, that one.
It was magnificent, wasn't it, to Giorgio?
Great to watch. Groudon gave it to Giorgio. And the kick's going to be picked off by Hereda. You're not going anywhere, Brian, because getting hold of you was Miller. Schaefer got it. His kick is wonderful as well, but perhaps, let me approximate, 1 centimetre too far for Potter.
Yep. Yes, off the side of the boot. made it very hard for Potter. Potter hasn't really been able to get into the game.
John Abbott has just come on, number 7 for Central, when we pick him up in a moment. Going off for him is doing a little two-step down there was Stephen Rowe. Finally kicks into the man. But coming off for Abbott was James Wind, who we must apologise to. Last week we said he was 34, but he's actually a couple of years junior of that. So we send him a formal apology. Herrera to half forward. The spoiler's up by Keating. Bounces free. Really could have gone anywhere, that one. James cleans it up. Has a look at Cunningham, who leaps high and takes a nice one in front of the eyes. Oh, the game's in the balance. It's well in the balance. We're into time on. A couple of quick breaks and a couple of goals might just blow this game open. Reid couldn't take it. Hands off. A fairly ambitious handball, if you don't mind me saying, because Conway had him hot. And Mark follows it up. Hicks got it from Saywell. Now the break is on Stevens. Look at him put the little turbocharger on as well. Now within about 20 metres. The sit is with Schaefer and takes it. They've been threatening Central.
Yes, there's the long kick from Stevens. He had the sit. You got all excited. You knew he was going to hold that, didn't you, from behind?
Oh, you can just see that he had the sit on, had the eyes. And he's a good mark. You don't drop them like that. How good's the kick, Robbie?
It's all right, according to the supporters behind the sticks.
And Stephen Wright as well. 24 minutes have gone in the third term. And the game is alive here at Elizabeth Oval. First of playing second, and Schaefer's belted through his first for the game.
Robert Schaefer at 200 centimetres is a very good pickup for us this year. He certainly needs to take more marks. You know, I'd like to see him probably taking 8 to 10 marks per game.
Well, he took one there, Stephen. Not sure whether it's 8 or 10 for the game so far, but he's taken perhaps half a dozen. 24 and a half minutes gone. And just one weeny little point in it. This is going to be a great last quarter. Stay with us. This is ABC Sport. This is South Australian football. And it's some of the best footy we've seen this year. Abbott kicks it forward. The heat's on back there in the kitchen for James. He just coolly bends it around the corner. Tough one, though, for the Growler, because he's got a couple on Trevor Growden. And he sees it to the line. A reminder to you that the ABC shop has this game and every other game, and this one, Gordon's not a bad one to go out and buy.
No, it's excellent. It's been great right through.
Boundary throwing. Keating, a little superb tap. But Stephen Rowe couldn't go anywhere, such as the defensive work of the Bulldogs, and it turns it over nicely. That'll be 25.
Might get 50 or 25, perhaps.
Yeah, I think so. Umpire's tapping his elbow as if it was 25.
I think he just said to Schaefer, "You haven't shaved today," as he touched his chin. Something's got to happen there, distance and penalty, and it will.
Yes, well, it will happen. 25 metres the difference. And Zantoki just got a little enthusiastic there. Made him pay, made him earn the kick, but it's taken him right to the line. In fact, in the end, it was 50. So Jared Cotton, 2 games shy of the 50. And the lead has changed once more with that Jared Cotton goal 26 minutes into the third term.
Jared Cotton playing on the half-forward flank. It's a very difficult position to stay in the game all day. So once again, if he can get his 1 goal a quarter, that will certainly do us.
Well, Stephen, he got 1 in the second and 1 in the third. So it's pretty much on target for you. Dantokia's had his hands full. Davey actually had him earlier in the day, so he's been a good player.
Yes, Dantokia, of course, won Norwood's best and fairest the year before last when McIntosh won the McGarry medal. Quite often happens, doesn't it?
Back in the middle. Growden. Just look at the bottom of the screen there. That is a nice little reflection of the way the day's been. Growden and Stevens pushing and shoving. And the whole game's been just like that. Look at this. I'm getting in there before you are. There. And I think Stevens actually was the one who got in there. That's it. Oh, what an entertaining game. What an entertaining quarter. Central District maintained their lead. They were 2 points up at quarter time, 3 points up at half time, and now at three-quarter time they're 5 points up. How do you reckon they'll go in the last term? Nikolai holds it up. Who will win this game? Who will take the minor premiership? In about 30 minutes on ABC Sport, we'll know the answer. 10-6 to 10-1. Pretty good kicking from both sides. And look at them in there on the glue pot, just diving in. You'll see plenty of that, plenty of numbers over the ball early in the game.
This last quarter, it'll be, well, there'll be no quarter asked at all, because that's how it's been right through. Good tackling, depending a lot, as I've said, on the rucks, whether Schaefer can dominate or whether Keating can get on top and give McIntosh some opportunities.
Roger Girdham just getting to his feet, number 10, so to Trevor Growden. Growden's been okay since he came on. A ball up. The ball from Eastor down towards Stevens. Not much from Dickey. It's been well blanketed, as I said earlier, by Scott Stevens. The handball's okay to Girdham. Start to build something with Schaefer, Ken, and they're just starting to get on top again in the early stages of this last term.
The home team leading by 5 points only in an epic battle as Eastor kicks with the left foot long in the direction of Miller. Had a great duel with a Hereda. Miller picks it up off the half volley. Back into Toomey. Just the harassing, the pressure is great from both sides. Miller with the left foot in the direction of Reid and almost takes the mark. Rowe in there quickly, as are a number of his teammates from the Norwood side, and a throw-up will take place 45 metres out from goal, with Norwood trailing by 5 points. Bounce takes place. Schaefer in front position. The two ruckmen go for it. Miller brings it up and kicks the ball. Any old how. Comes out to McIntosh with great vision. Great vision has found Toomey. And Toomey has marked 40 metres out, directly in front. And is this an important kick for goal?
I think the answer is yes. That's the short answer. In front of a crowd of nearly 6,000 people, his knees might not be knocking, but he'll know the importance of it, that's for sure.
His approach is very good. Comes in, James Sowell standing to mark. It's a good kick, it's low, and it is straight. That's a fantastic goal at the opening of this fourth quarter, which sees the Norwood side 10 goals, 11 goals won, hit the front against Central, 10 goals 6.
Matthew Toomey has been in and out of the team a lot of the year. He's certainly a very talented player, but with our abundance of midfield players, we've struggled to fit him into the 18 often. He's certainly very talented and very good with his hands and knows how to kick a goal. He's a very important player for us to have around coming into the finals.
Good comment to have Peter making, isn't it? Good in front of the goals. He was okay there. He needed to be. The score's changed once more. The lead has changed once more. 1 point the difference. Oh, Giorgio was attacked. And unfairly, says the umpire. He's going to get a free kick.
And this would be, I think, about the first time throughout the game that perhaps the side that's kicked the goal has been able to respond with the same centre bounce break.
Cunningham couldn't take it. The bounce was an awkward one. Paddling it forward was Girdham. Don't deviate, John Abbott. He didn't, and that's to his great credit, but he's lucky he didn't get hurt in that.
Yes, he might have got one right under the throat there. Showed a lot of courage to go through.
Held his line well.
He did.
Peripheral vision, a great thing to have, as he avoided that one at the last moment. Mike Abbott, umpire, bounces the footballs, pushed forward by Norwood, but Scott Lee, who's been fantastic, as has this fellow starting to emerge, Todd Davey, and he's doing the right thing there as a youngster, playing in front. Switches it to Dan Tokia, who puts it out in front of Growden, but Stevens, who's probably had the better of him, transfers the ball inboard to Cook.
Well, play on. Cook has to play it on, wheels around. Just fell a bit short. Norwood are under some heat back there. Well done by Daniels. Cunningham, couple of bounces. Beautifully poised, isn't he? The kick wasn't so special, though. It went to half forward, and Schaefer was allowed just to drop back and read it very nicely.
He did.
What's happening here?
Almost been penalised. No, says the umpire.
Had a rest momentarily in the forward pocket in the end of that third quarter and responded with a goal for his side. Schaefer transfers play to Wakeland, who puts it through to McGowan. McGowan now on his second opponent for the day. A combination between McIntosh and Anthony Harvey. Uses the ball well into the centre of the ground, and it's picked up by David Green. and takes the mark. He's not sure where to go. The Norwood defence is good. It's checked every move possible by Central. They keep presenting themselves. And guess who?
I think somebody had somebody else lined up.
Oh, you could feel it coming.
But he has such great courage, has Roger Girdham. He really has led well here today and uses the ball with perfection to the leading Bolkwell, who flicks it through to Schaefer, runs into trouble, but puts it back to Jack, who flicks it out to Girdham again. He puts it long, a rough old kick. In front there is Cotton, tied up by Cunningham. And I think a ball up will take place.
Oh, yes, it's tight in there at the moment. Understandable with only 1 point the difference at this stage.
Yes, if you want a touch of the football, Central District trailing by 1 point. If you want a touch of the football, you have to display some courage. Just as you saw Roger Girdham doing a moment ago and holding his line. He knew that the stampede was coming down on him. And he just stood his ground. Be a lot easier on that big bouncy thing at the back there, wouldn't it, the castle out there in the outer? Probably be easier to get a kick out there amongst all the kids, to be honest. Spoiled down right on the 50-metre line. McIntosh, he is lifting. You can sense that he's just trying to get that little bit extra out of them. The Norwood side, that is. Away it goes. Half a chance now for Conway. Turned around like the Queen Mary, though. Through for a point.
Yes, that one was rushed. Yes, I think he had to concede that one.
Well, he really didn't have any option, did Nathan Bassett. If he had made a mistake, it could have been a goal to Conway. As the ball is kicked in by the Norwood side, right to centre-half back. Bowman, in the attempt to knock it further forward, is successful, and they clear through Cunningham. Good lead, Toomey. And this is a good move by Peter Road. He's brought the big, taller Pascoe off for the much more fleet-footed Toomey. They go further forward through Giorgio. Over to Cunningham, who puts the ball in the direction of Miller. Miller and Arada have had a great duel. Was that kicking in danger? No, it's called play on. Reid picks the ball up, but he's hotly pursued by Lee. Ellis with the football. Is that holding the ball, dropping the ball? They're just going from everywhere, these blokes. It is tremendous. Cunningham with the football. Has he got the pace? No, he's well tackled by Wakeland. Is that high? Yes!
Too high, yes. Watch this pressure. Just watch it. Oh, yes, right under the throat.
Oh, wasn't the preceding passage pretty good, though?
And it's been one of the real features of the game. Like, there's been some great play all over, but the forward line defensive work ethic of both teams' forwards has been great, and Miller has been tremendous. But the crowd think he's tremendous too, the home crowd here of Central District, as he made a muff of that opportunity.
Let's put them in front, though. 1 point, 8 minutes have gone. And those who backed Central District today at 6 to 10 on, might just be worrying a bit at the moment about their money.
And an SNFL update sees the Eagles by 22 points over West, and coming up, Glenelg versus North.
And tomorrow, Sturt tackles South Adelaide in front of the folk at Strathalbyn. Should be a close tussle as well. A good round of football, this one. Across the top it goes to Dickey, to Rowe. And Stephen launches himself at it. Half a chance down there. Scott Lee's under some heat. Can't quite take it. Abbott arrives to lend some support. And they finally close it down.
Last night, Fremantle defeated Collingwood by 24 points in the West. And Essendon have defeated Adelaide by 6 goals.
Tough one for Adelaide now to get back into the business of the finals. Melbourne defeated Carlton by 19 points. And if you tip that, you must have a crystal ball. Geelong over the West Coast by 45 points. St Kilda defeated Fitzroy by 53 points. No worries there at all. And here at Elizabeth Oval, just 1 point in it. The Redlegs are in front.
And the Saints must be a chance for a finals berth, Stephen.
They're running a big charge late in the piece, aren't they? They're a good chance.
10 goals, 7 Central Districts, 11 goals, 2 Norwood. So it's 1 point to the Redlegs. And it's in their forward line, only just, but it will go deep now as Anthony Harvey puts the ball out in front of the leading Ashley Reid, who takes a tremendous mark with strong hands on a very difficult angle.
Well, I like Reid. I like the game he's played today.
Well, he's kicked 5 and he's presented himself at every opportunity.
Yes, a number of his hand passes have been excellent. Good lead, good hands. But what an acute angle.
You can can see that vision as the ball goes into the air,
yes,
through the big ones. For Ashley Reed's 6th goal, and that gives the Redlegs a very handy lead in what has been an absolute magnificent game of football. 12 goals to Norwood, leading Central Districts 10 goals 7 points in front.
It was Harvey showing a lot of determination, a good pass.
Well, all of a sudden, Norwood are looking good in terms of the minor premiership, because I can tell you over the next month they play South Adelaide, Glenelgan North before having the bye at South Glenelgan North. Central have Port, North and Sturt. So you'd argue that it's a little bit tougher for the Dogs. And this game, if it's stolen from the Bulldogs, will really put in dispute that minor premiership and the rest that's so important. Leading the finals as Stephen Rowe stood his ground.
What courage.
Typical of the day, isn't it?
Stephen Rowe has really lifted his rating since after half-time. As he puts that ball into again Miller. And it's a free kick being given to James Saywell, who's been shifted off Trevor Growden on centre wing and over onto Donald Dickey on the opposite wing. Switches play to Cook, kicked a goal just prior to half-time and has been a very decent player for the Central District side this year. But that kick is intercepted by big Simon Astor, number 27 for Norwood.
I have to say, McGowan's gone missing, at least temporarily. Not quite the impact from Gurdon, but McIntosh has lifted. His leadership is just a sensation week in and week out. Was holding the ball just about. Robinson couldn't quite finish it off. Paddled forward by Gurdon. Somebody needs to get one in there that's nice and clean and feed it out, but they can't before the umpire blows the whistle. We've got 7 points the difference. Order in front of the 12-minute mark.
And haven't won out here for 13 years.
And just to give you a bit of a snapshot of the year, if you're unfamiliar with it, Norwood won by 9 points in round 1 and 28 points in round 10. And as we said earlier, if they go into the finals and they meet Central and they've beaten them 3 times, there'll just be a nagging doubt, Ken, in the back of Central's mind as to whether they can get over them.
Be no question the psychological advantage would be in favour of the Redlegs if they can secure this win here today. Brian Harada leaving the ground for Craig Potter to come back on for Central District. Norwood set up well from that ball up as Harvey receives the ball and kicks it into Reed. It spoils to the ground. Toomey has possession, but he's boxed up well by the Central District's defence. And I just think that it really has been the work rate of those Norwood midfielders. They work hard back into defence since half-time, and they've really pushed in numbers through to the open spaces across half forward. I think that's perhaps been the difference. So the Central District side will have to respond.
Bounce down. 20 metres from the Norwood goal. Another one here. May just about do it. John Cunningham, not quite. In fact, it was Harvey. Tough in the clinches in there. And we'll have yet another bounce down. Yeah, I agree with you entirely. The fizz in the midfield from McIntosh in the last 10 minutes has really wound them up. Cunningham started to get a few touches as well. Harvey at the bottom of screen, number 23, has done okay. And now Central, as you say quite rightly, need to respond. Saywell to McGowan, who, as I mentioned, has just gone a little quiet. Decided there was nothing on the far side and went with the left leg as far as Dan Tokia. Couldn't quite complete the mark. The heat's still on David Green, though, and we'll have another ball up in the middle of the ground.
Forward by 7 points. And as you said, McGowan seems to have dropped out a little bit, and McIntosh, we mentioned earlier, he had to come into the game and has certainly done so.
Big spoil by Daniels, but it's received by Central as they push it forward in the direction of Ellis on the outer half-forward flank. Tries to centre the ball up in the direction of Schaefer, but Bowman, with good body strength, tremendous body strength, just out-positioned the bigger, taller Robert Schaefer.
I don't think Central are well settled at the moment. Schaefer's gone to full forward. Conway, who's their best bet at full forward, has gone into the ruck. They've got Craig Potter trying to work a half-forward line, and he looks a bit slow for it. So their goal-kicking ability, I think, has been diminished. Cotton about the only one up there who can threaten, and seriously threaten. The ball goes across the line, centre wing. What do you think about that?
And Lewis might be short of a run, too, at this stage, having not played since early in the season, league football, that is.
Well, my next comment was going to be, I can't actually spot Lewis.
I was just looking.
He's gone to centre half back, so he's picking up Miller.
Right.
with Hereda off the ground, but it's Norwood by 7 points.
Holding the ball.
15 minutes into this final quarter. This player has been magnificent. Scott Stevens, number 15 for the Central District Bulldogs. His left foot puts to centre half forward, looking for Bulkwell. It's Eastor in front. Should have marked that perhaps. Good body strength over on Bulkwell. Picked up in tight and boxed up in tight. Tremendous work rate by both teams. And this has been a real feature of today's game.
Fancy trying to get through there. Like a brick wall.
You need a bulldozer, wouldn't you?
You would.
Tim Cook. A relatively quiet day for him. Not at his sparkling best by any means. He's got some improving to do in his game before the finals. And as I just repeat, over the next month, they've got Port Adelaide out here next week. Then North Adelaide, who are in pretty good form. The bye, and then they finish off with Sturt. So there's some tough stuff to come, and a couple that conceivably they should walk in. But they've got a lot of work to do in this game now as the ball once again goes over the line on the far side.
It's an interesting move. As we're live here from Elizabeth Oval, the home of the Bulldogs, where they are behind by 7 points in this last quarter. Big congestion around the football. Cook brings it underneath him, and a ball up will result. But Lewis, it's an interesting move. He's kicked 3, and yet he's back at centre half back on Miller. Miller was really on top of Hereda. Perhaps Hereda has had to leave the arena with an injury.
Well, Miller he's competed well, no doubt about that, but he hasn't dominated quite like he did in the second term, as again the ball goes across the line on the far side. But I just look at it and see Central a bit unbalanced at the moment.
Yes, they are. They're struggling just at this stage. Norwood just appear to have an edge.
There is time, though, Gordon.
Oh, plenty of time.
Plenty of time. Conway's gone onto the ball. Squeezed out twice. And the umpire's found a free kick. They don't often pay them late in the game like this. In the latter stage of the last quarter, they'll let it go, but there was obviously one in that. Within about 15 or 20, Hicks a shove out. Lee cleans up. A little more work from him backward of centre. We'll see the Bulldogs lift. Saywell, take your choice. Hereda's back onto the ground. The handball lacked some punch. It was tied. To Abbott. His isn't tied. To Cook. Off the side of the boot, or was it? Straight into the arms of Potter.
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt there. I think you might have seen him out the vision of his left eye as a great kick by Potter. Finds Schaefer, now resting at full forward. We'll say resting because he has been dominant in ruck in a great duel with Keating and Eastor.
Didn't he make a couple of yards to get that one? Of course, when you're, 6 foot, over 6 foot, and stretch out, well, then you have the advantage too. But he plucked that one up beautifully from almost onto the turf.
And that's been one of the real features of this game. Whilst there's been great on-ball contingents, the big men's strength has been tremendous for both teams. His approach from difficult angle and a long way out. Puts the ball to the front of the goal square. They fly. Anthony Harvey, as any good on-baller should be, right back there in the last line of defence when it matters. Clears the ball to Trevor Growden on the outer half-back flank.
Central have David Flood to come back into this outfit. Craig Cotter. Norwood, of course, for the finals have Andrew Jarman looming. A big leap out there, not taken. Jarman will enhance this side, no end. It's just a matter then for Norwood of which ones they leave out as Miller punches it towards the line. His competition's been great.
Very competitive man. And in fact, a tremendous player, having crossed to Norwood from the Brisbane Bears. He's played in excess of 50 games. He played for the state in a tremendous game win against the West in the middle of the year. So it has been a magnificent acquisition.
He played pretty well in that state game too. Got a bit of vigour that you need.
Yes, his switch to centre half forward has been mirrored at North Adelaide, where Glenn Sanford went from centre half back to centre half forward. Both Norwood and North Adelaide looking for something extra through the key attacking zone. Well done, Dickie. He is an exciting, effervescent little player. Burst onto the scene this year, but really today, as Ken mentioned earlier, has been overshadowed. Mark right on the point of the half-back line. It's been taken by Nathan Bassett with a pretty good mark.
Nathan Bassett come onto the ground in the third quarter to take up residence at fullback and has run off well for the Norwood side as Abbott is tied up by the Norwood tacklers. Miller, Toomey. It's had it all this game. John Abbott played 44 games for the Bulldogs. Should have fresh legs. He's only been on the ground for around about 5 or 10 minutes.
Oops.
Stephen Rowe, good smother in close quarters. Cleared by Jack Daniels. Out in the front of Balkwell. Balkwell picks it up, gives the handball to Girdham, who has been he's just been outstanding, Girdham. He's been everywhere. Puts the ball in the direction of Lewis, but again, it is Anthony Harvey, but what a tackle.
How quick was it? Spot on.
Yeah. That could have been in the back, but the umpire was looking into the sun. Didn't have an opportunity, I don't think, to really pick that one up.
Oh, you're a tough judge.
Don't you think it could have been in the back?
Everybody's entitled to an opinion, but yes, could have been in the back had he not got him in the side. But anyway, meantime, Daniels to Bowman, and Bowman unashamedly finds the line.
Perhaps the back has moved from the side.
Well, you never know.
Over the years.
Central supporters starting to get involved. They're trying to lift their side. Not that lot. They belong to Norwood, I think. 10-7. Central, they trail by 7 points. 12-2 Norwood. Terrific kicking from them today in terms of accuracy. And we've got another bounce down or a ball up, I suspect, in that soft spot.
Yes, we played about 18 minutes. 7 points the difference.
It was a soft spot. It just was a dead ball. Well, we've got a couple of seconds. If you look down this Central District list of league and reserves, there's a whole bunch of familiar names. Norwood by 7 points. Hicks, Saywell, Ray, Nix and Vivian. All sons of former Central District players. Sort of developing a fair bit of tradition in their own way in their 32nd year, the Bulldogs, as that ball goes across the shoulder. Takes some marking too. James Saywell gave it his very best shot. And with so much desperation on hand, I imagine we'll have another ball up. Now, where's it going to get from? Who's going to pick them up for Central? It's Girdham or McGowan. Somebody has to pick them up, because in this last term, McIntosh has been fantastic.
There he is, number 14.
What can I say about Gary McIntosh that hasn't been said? He's certainly very hard at the ball, and he's an inspiration to all his teammates. And whenever the chips are down, you can always rely on Mac to be the one getting in there and making the difference.
Certainly given them a good start in this last term. Just when they needed it, Stephen Rowe still had the hands free and got it away. Dan Tokia comes to grandstand side. Harvey, here he is. McIntosh, the short pass to Miller, just fell a little bit short. Hereda under some pressure now. Under the pump, as they say, as he just lays it back, and McIntosh finds the line. I don't think he was going to do anything else, Gordon.
And he finished up in the coach's box.
Now the Central District supporters get involved. Forward it goes, and it's tight. Finding some space now is a very difficult assignment. Score check, 74-67. Ken Sheldon's gone downstairs to find a winning interview. 7 points is 12-2 to 10-7. Someone's bleeding in there. And Tim Cook is covering his face. Not sure what that was all about. Umpire was trying to get his elbow down so he could see if there was bleeding to send him from the ground, I imagine. Stephen Rowe, not much in there. We're into time on.
Norwood going just a little steadier at the moment, a little bit more desperate.
They sure are. There's just been a couple of goals scored, so we're not going to have a lot of time on. Central are dead set running out of time here. And Norwood, the irony is that they're going to face the same dilemma that Central did last year if they get the minor premiership, because they'll have a 2-week break with a bye in the last round, but they're not done with yet, Central. Lewis swung back to centre half forward, takes the mark and puts it up there. They couldn't quite, but David Green, can you make a hero of yourself, David? I think you can. Oh, the Dogs aren't done with. I'm just looking over to where the timekeeper is, and he's got the trigger finger ready. But it's 1 point the difference on ABC Sport. Norwood have the most slender of margins. Now Gordon go out on a limb.
David Green, just watch him. Picked it up, steadied it up. I thought he might have hand passed, but decided to go for distance and straight through.
Oh, don't handball when you get yourself an opportunity like that. David's first. Central's 11th. Oh, there's a bit of a chill in the spine here now, because there's a lot riding on this game. We've said to you that Norwood haven't won out here for 13 years. Maybe today's the day. That exit from centre square, very important. Lee, excellent. Fabulous performance from one of the Magarey medal favourites, the agitator, backward of centre. His short pass is good, it needs to be as well. Oh, it's risky, but they're playing the possession style that serve them so well. Stevens, probably the three best players for Central in that exchange. That is McGowan, Lee and Stevens. In the middle of the ground is Abbott. They know that they have very little time, and Abbott kicks it long, 50 metres. The mark required, not quite this time. Saywell, desperate, can't quite. Bulkwill just fed it out. The wrong player was on the end of it because Schaefer couldn't get down. Wakeland, boundary line, doesn't want it. Desperately doesn't want it, but he doesn't want 3 or 4 of them either. And the bell is gone. Well, we have seen some excellent games of football this year, but that's just about the best one. 1 point the difference at the end of it. The siren was difficult to hear, but Norwood have run out winners for the very first time here at the Ponderosa in 13 years.